Let's turn our attention right now to yesterday, and once again, Insulate Britain defying a court order to block the M25 once again, this time near Heathrow. 53 arrests were made, and I have to say, been some concern from the police that while they are making those arrests, basically barely anyone they arrest is ending up actually being charged by the CPS and ending up in court. Well, let's talk to Fiona Atkinson now, who's a spokeswoman for Insulate Britain, that organisation causing so much havoc on our streets. Good morning to you, Fiona.
Hello, Julia.
Good morning to you. Now, I mean, Insulate Britain have made it very, very clear that you're not really bothered about public opinion anymore. You're not trying to persuade us, to convince us, to educate us into agreeing with you. You're just going to basically try and bully us into agreeing with you. But are you sure these tactics
I'm sorry, can I interrupt? I don't think we've made that clear at all. What we've made clear is our message, which is our message, and our message is that we need to sound a fire alarm on this and get on with it. Boris has been too slow. Fuel poverty kills people and blights children's lives. There are facts involved in this, and they're kind of what I like to call facty facts that you can't argue with. And one of the big facty facts is that 8,500 people died in the winter of 2019 to 20 from living in a cold house. This is 21st century UK. We're the sixth richest country in the world, and we have people dying of cold. We have 2.2 million children living in houses that are too cold for their parents to heat, for their carers to heat. Their childhood
Fiona,
is blighted by poverty.
Fiona, is it when what were facty facts? Would it not also be the facty fact that actually a lot of people can't afford their heating bills? We know heating bills are going up for lots of different reasons right now, but among those reasons there are extra charges on everyone's fuel bill to fund renewables. We know that the renewable fuels that you're so keen on, like wind, when the wind doesn't blow or the sun doesn't shine, they're not very reliable. Then we have to rely on gas and nuclear. But your organisation. No, Fiona, your organisation is opposed to a lot of what would be cheap, reliable fuel that those people you claim to be so concerned about could afford.
But I'm not talking about renewables today. I'm talking precisely about Insulate Britain.
I know that, Fiona, but they are actually related.
Well, they're sort of related, but our
they are.
demand for action is that the government gets on and does something about their own targets. This is Boris Johnson's own targets. By insulating Britain, we will create jobs, thousands of real jobs, not pathetic zero contract jobs, real jobs. We can really recharge the economy by doing this, and we can start saving the emissions.
Right.
We are still
Fiona, the key point is your concern is, you said your issue is the fact that children's lives are being blighted and people are dying because it's too cold, they can't heat their homes. If they could afford to heat their homes, it wouldn't matter whether they were insulated or not, they could still afford to heat their homes and they wouldn't be dying of the cold as you are claiming they're doing. In which case, the issues I just raised you, cheap, reliable fuel should be what you're aiming for, not insulating Britain isn't going to stop any of those things happening. Whereas actually, if we were fracking for gas, if we built nuclear power stations, we would have cheap, reliable fuel that people on lowest incomes could afford, and then their lives wouldn't be, as you say, blighted. And yet, you're not talking about that.
You're not allowing me to speak. I don't understand why anybody would invite me onto their programme and then talk all the way through my answers.
Plenty of time to speak. I'm asking you to answer my questions, though, rather than to talk about something else.
No, I'm not talking about something else. I'm talking about what I was brought on to talk about, which is Insulate Britain. And the fact is, to answer your question, people have got fuel poverty. It's not just because of the price of energy, although that's going up this year and is appalling. We've got another problem to solve, and here's another facty fact for you. We live in a country, in a planet that's dangerously overheating. Our emissions have come down by 1% in terms of heating loss from buildings. We've got to address the waste of energy. 37% of people live in houses which are not their own. They cannot afford to get them insulated. We're losing heat. So this one request that we need to get on with, this one action, this actual plan, we have a plan here to get all houses insulated by 2025, all social housing, would actually save money, as you're talking about, and cut our emissions. But the trouble with you, Julia, is because I've been watching some of your programs, you deny the climate change issue. So having watched you,
I deny the climate change. I deny, Fiona, my darling, I deny that it's a catastrophe and it should be catastrophized in the way it is. It's not an emergency. No, I don't agree with you on that. But in terms like denier, I'm not entirely sure you're very, very helpful. You used the word request just then. And it's not a request, is it? When you are stopping people going about their business, being able to earn money to afford their heating bills for their families, to pay their electricity bills so their children don't go cold in the winter, when you stop people going about their lawful business by blocking roads, that's not a request, that's bullying, isn't it?
What it is it's like I said at the beginning, it's a fire alarm. We need to sound the alarm. And the trouble is with people
But it's not a request.
The trouble with people like yourself, and I am surprised at you because you have a degree in economics. You have a degree which shows that you can think, because you've got a degree in philosophy. If you can think and you understand economics, I don't understand why you would question the science as much as you do. And the fact
Fiona, I don't know what your qualifications are, but I don't understand someone who cares so much about fuel poverty and the fact that people can't afford to heat their homes wouldn't be in favour of nuclear power and fracking to create reliable, cheap energy.
I've come on this programme to talk about Insulate Britain's plan to get...
I know what you've come on to talk about. If you claim that your concern is that people are living in cold homes, I'm telling you there's a very simple solution to that, which doesn't involve you sitting on a motorway stopping other people going about their daily lives. Why are you not in favour of cheap, reliable energy?
If Insulate Britain weren't sitting on the motorway now, I would not be here talking to you. I'm not in favour of cheap, what you call reliable energy. There's nothing reliable about overheating the planet. It is dangerous, and you're a climate denier, so you're not going to accept that. So on this point, we have to disagree. Most of the world...
I don't deny there's a climate, Fiona.
And it's an emergency. That's Sir David King, the government's own advisor, saying we've got 10 years to sort that out. And he said in 2019, we've got the IPCC saying the same thing. We've got the government's own climate committee. But Julia, you, for some reason, decide that that's not credible. That's unbelievable.
If in 2029, when we're still saying another 10 years to sort this out, then I'm sure you'll be back on the show. Okay, just finally, do you think you are going to, as a result of what you've been doing, your protests, do you think you're actually going to see more homes being insulated more quickly, paid for by taxpayers' money, or do you think you're just going to put more and more people off your cause?
Well, I think our methods are, I agree, absolutely awful, and I wish to God we weren't being driven to them. But sadly, because of people like yourself who are the gatekeepers. Yeah,
I'm the problem. Fiona, I'm completely the problem.
You are a problem because you're not telling the truth. I watched a program where you deny the facts. So if people out there, please stop listening to Julia because she denies emergency.
Everybody, stop listening. Stop listening to this show. That's our new slogan here at Talk Radio. I'm going to have to let you go, but not because you've said that. Genuinely, I'm already over time for the break. But Fiona, even though no one will be listening to the show, on your wise advice, I would love it if you did come back on the show. We can have a longer discussion at a lengthier time. 8:46 is the time. Fiona Atkinson is from Insulate Britain. I know that Brendan Chilton, who's been joining me all this morning, will be desperate to get on that. We will talk to you in just a few moments about that. Also, we're going to be talking about the